I'm going to open this one kind of up to everyone, but we'll start with Sam. Have you ever experienced resistance in leading men? That's a good one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's sometimes some difficulty, more so from an older regime of thinking. Mm-hmm. I have worked with men that I've been called a skirt before. I've had men that have a hard time calling me Samantha and prefer to call me Sam. And when I've done a good job, they called me a swell chap. Oh. The thing about it for me is that I never looked at that as a fight or a battle. It was more of an opportunity. I had an opportunity to learn from these individuals that weren't necessarily comfortable working with me, but because I went into it looking at it as that opportunity, I gained a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience that now I work with a lot of male attorneys and have over the years that I think it really has evolved, and I don't meet the same type of resistance. Mm-hmm. And I think also because I'm more of an inclusive team type leader, that helps a lot with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will even say for years, actually, many people did not know that Michael and I were even together because I was so afraid of being labeled as just Michael's wife. And I was going to get in my own way because I was like, no, I don't want that. I'm going to build my own name out of this before that happens. And so I definitely understand that. Has anyone, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I think it's really an interesting dynamic when we talk about opportunities, and when I've had attorneys that were from that older regime that I've learned from, what I am finding is as we bring in new and younger attorneys, especially men that are growing their own families, there's so many ways that they can relate to us that they can't relate to their male leaders in the same way. So being a positive mirror, not just for other female leaders, but for those young men that are coming up in the business and want to have all of those things with their family. They're struggling with the same issues we are.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point. Anyone else? Has anyone else had any resistance leading men?
I managed a firm that had over 100 lawyers, and 80 of them were men. I think, though, the important thing for me was my core group of lawyers who supported me. I'm a guy's girl. I grew up with 2 older brothers. Like, I'll fight a dude, So for me, the resistance, like, I recognized it, but I did not ever let it limit me. And I think that's an important thing for us to talk about, because I feel like what happens is you come to conferences like this, which are tremendous in terms of your growth as a professional, and then you may end up with a bad experience with a handful of guys, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do those conferences again. And I think it's really important as women to support each other. Like, these women who've been involved in CRISP have been so instrumental in pushing me to step outside of my comfort zone or push past, bad experiences to continue to do the work. Because at the end of the day, the guys are going to be here, right? If you don't show up, nobody cares, right? So you still have to show up irrespective of what the resistance is.